happy to invite on stage the people with the longest trip here, fresh from the Philippines, Brandley and Bianca. They will present us their project.
Okay. After 3 days of traveling with a 24-hour layover in Beijing, we're finally here. I am Bianca. I'm the producer. I'm from the Philippines. This is Bradley Liu. He's the director and the writer. He's Malaysian, based in the Philippines. We belong to a company called Epic Media Productions, which has completed over 20 feature films, most notably Venice 2009 Lion of the Future, Berlinale 2016 Silver Bear by Lav Diaz, and the highest grossing independent film in the Philippines. His first feature, Singing in Graveyards, premiered in Venice Critics Week last year, and for his second feature, Motel Acacia, we wanted to push the boundaries beyond our comfort zones. So we decided to do a horror genre backdrop by the immigration issues faced by the Western world. This is very special to both of us because both of our fathers have sacrificed their time with us to work abroad to give us a better life.
So Motel Acacia is about a young, half Filipino, half American man who's brought over into the West by his tyrannical Caucasian father and is groomed to take over this sex motel that contains a bed haunted with the spirit of a Filipino tree demon that eats men and impregnates women. So the film starts in the tropical jungle of the Philippines, lush vegetation, on top of a huge acacia tree. And on top of this tree, there is a 10-foot tall Filipino tree demon called the Capre. And the Capre is making love to this human woman. Demon and the woman are so lost in their lovemaking they don't notice that down below, illegal loggers are cutting down this tree. The tree comes falling down and the woman's body is broken, but her stomach grows and grows in pregnancy. The Capre disappears physically, but his spirit is now trapped inside the wood. The wood is cut, made into a bed, and shipped off to North America, to Motel Acacia. So decades later, in the middle of a very snowy, icy winter, JC arrives in Motel Acacia and brought over by his father. And he's there to take over this motel, Motel Acacia, which is now used by the local town council to get rid of the illegal immigrants discreetly, via being eaten by this bed. So JC falls in love with a woman called Angeli, a fellow Filipina and a mother who is tasked with luring these illegal immigrants to the motel in exchange for money that she desperately needs to pay for her son's medical bills back home. When the unexpected death of the father happens in a snowstorm, JC now finds himself in charge of Motel Acacia, just as the bed tries to exert its dominance as the alpha has died, and the bed starts eating the men and impregnating the women. So as JC tries to save the woman he loves, tries to save Angeli, he decides to burn down Motel Acacia. But it is too late, as Angeli now gives birth to the spawn of the Capre. JC must now make a choice. Does he, one, choose to follow in his father's cruel footsteps, his cruel nature, and kill this half-human, half-demon spawn? Or does he choose to let it free, to spare it? JC realizes immediately that he is not cruel enough to survive in this world, this cruel world that his father has built. And he decides to set the Capre spawn free. JC then carries Angeli deep into the icy forest, which now transforms into the Philippine tropical jungle. He takes off his clothes and he fits himself into Angeli's embrace. His body slowly liquefies and is consumed by Angeli as he retreats into the safety of the womb, back to the safety and the comforting nature of the female form. So we have a clip that we shot, and this will kind of give a little bit of an atmospheric tone. And we have also locked our main character of JC, so we can play the clip.
Why'd you bring him here?
In this country, as in many countries, there's a virus infecting him. We offer a treatment. Slowly, the cure. Why did I bring him here? Hey. Change the sheets.
What?
Change the sheets. That's what you're here for, right? To work?
This will all be yours, son.
So, why do you want to make the film? Well, I grew up barely knowing my own father because he used to work, he is still working on a little ship for months on end in the middle of the Western Oceans. And we think, growing up in this developing world, we think that the answer to poverty, the answer to better opportunities is to go to the West, go to America, go to Europe. But what really happens when we get there? I mean, we get there, we are discriminated as second-class citizens. We are discriminated by the color of our skin, the way we speak, our accents, the shape of our eyes. And all this time, our own children growing up back home, they think that this too is the way for them, to in turn go to the West themselves. But this film is not just a critique on the Western world. I mean, madness is happening right now in the Philippines. The Philippine president has infected society thinking that the only way to solve societal issues is to just murder them all away. And it's just very much like the bit with the monstrous capre, eating away society's problems. And this film may be genre in nature, but we feel that the voice and intention of this film is to try and to provoke a younger generation to really open their eyes and see that there's something wrong with the world.
Okay, so we've been developing this film for 3 years. It's been supported by the Buchon Fantastic Film Festival's IT Project and IAVE Ties That Bind, and now the Jerusalem Film Lab. In the press book, the budget is 600,000 US, granting that we build a set and shoot 90% in the Philippines and 3 to 4 days in winter for the exterior scenes. But last week, we were in Taipei Film Festival. We met with Taiwanese producer of Chinese blockbuster Red Cliff. The name is producer Lia Ju Feng. She's very interested to be on board, but she suggested that we get a named American actor and do post-production outside of our country, which I also agreed to. So she likes the script, and we've managed to raise the budget to 1,300,000 US. And she wants to support Bradley Liu because she thinks that he's one of the new talented voices of Southeast Asian cinema. And the reason why I'm also here right now is because I believe the same thing. I think before we open the stage for discussion, let's all ask ourselves, are we not all immigrants? Are we not all strangers in our own land? Thank you.
Thank you.
Catriel, please.
It's very well written, and as a horror, I went with the story all the way. Then one question that kept in my mind is, it's really, I didn't get enough motives for the kind of relationship between the father and the son. The father is rather limited in the story, but still, you know, it wasn't clear to me why this kind of relationship and why this kind of harshness to his son that he does not see for ages. It wasn't totally clear to me.
I guess for me, the whole nature, the whole setup is always this power play between father and son. Even in the clip, which is one scene in the film, you see that he's carrying a box. The box is to let his lesser physical son step on it. You know, he knows the limitations of his son because he's just half Caucasian. And to him, in this superior, I would say, world, this Caucasian world, like this guy is a lesser being. So in the beginning of the film, we really try to play a little more of the imagery of mise en scène, I guess, rather than actual dialogue of why we don't look the same way, or why I don't treat you the same way. So I guess what we'll try to do is to really focus a bit more on the mise en scène of power play, I guess.
Other feedback? Carlo, yeah?
Yes, I had a chance to see the previous. Okay, so I had the chance to see the previous film by Bardelieu, which I liked a lot. This one seems very different to me, which is good. My question is simply which kind of target are you aiming to? Because on one hand, the clip we have seen is really a genre, piece of genre movie. On the other hand, the presentation you have given, it's more like auteur or more political driven film. So I'm not saying that you cannot put the two together, but just want to know a bit better.
I think a lot of people have made the observation as well, like what are we trying to do? Are we doing full-on genre, or are we doing something a bit more clear? But I believe that is what we're trying to achieve. We are trying to make a genre form that's very accessible to a wider audience, but at the same time, all our messages and all our intentions in the film is very a bit more, I would say, less than surface level. We want to go deeper and deeper. So for me, that is the challenge of this film. We want to blend both worlds. So a genre execution, but at the same time a bit more meaningful message.
I think the French call it elevated John.
And is it true? Yeah. Becky, please. Can you have the mic? Thank you.
Okay? Yeah? Is it working? Yeah. Listen, I hate to think that it's going to be interpreted as a recipe how to get rid of immigrants. You know? Really. I have not that it's going to be, I guess what I understand what you want to do is a message there, but as I say, I hope it's not going to be misinterpreted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would just join, just don't be eaten by metaphor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would comment on the other way, that from my point of view, the movie is not equally balanced between your intentions of meaning and the efficiency of a horror movie. You should go farther in the horror. My perception of that, it would be more efficient if it was completely a genre movie and interpreted like with a meaning, etc. Romero's Zombie was exactly the same. It was efficient as a zombie movie, but there was all this look on the society, the American society in the 70s, etc., etc. But it was interpreted afterwards. It was not really said in the movie. That was my comment.
Would you comment on that, Bradley? Maybe?
So I guess what you're unanimously saying is that a bit more subtle on the message side, but a bit more forward with the genre execution.
And And just to end on that message as well is, I mean, the symbolic, the allegory is so clear that you don't need to emphasize it. It's just too much to the nose. But to develop more the characters and the plot, because sometimes in the hotel there's still a repetition and it doesn't really evolve. And it's the problem of elevated genre is that it's sitting between two chairs, and you have to make a choice. And if you want to make a genre movie, you have to go fully for that. And this is why the Americans are very strong doing that, because there's a belief and they go full straightforward for that. And then in between, the way you're treating and developing your characters and the allegory is there. I mean, everybody gets it. But my other concern is that to make this happen, you need money. I mean, to make independent, low-budget genre are hard to compete with the big American genre. This is another challenge, because what's happening in the hotel, all the transformation of the tree and the taking over, it has to look fantastic, spectacular. And if you don't have the money, it's gonna look cheap. And this doesn't work either. So this was my 2 comments. Okay. They already doubled the budget in the last 2 weeks, so we will see how it will end up. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.